Good morning, Corinne from Mama's Little Lambs. Today I'm going to be bringing a new video and a new concept about morning baskets. I'll be right back to share with you some great new ideas. Welcome back. I'm going to get started with sharing with you a new concept that we are adding in our home in the evening, and that would be at bedtime. We are going to be utilizing a bedtime basket. Our 4-year-old is busy, and sometimes it's hard to get him to wind down and settle down. So I thought if we had a special basket for nighttime only, he might be more willing to climb in his bed and get ready and to start slowing down. So I'm going to share with you some ideas that I have put together, things that have to do with bedtime. And this basket will only be used during bedtime. It's not anything that we can get into and use the books and utilize them at other times, because I want to encourage him to want to be in bed, and that this is a special time and we will do special things with this basket, just like we do with our morning basket. So the first things I'm going to share with you, I got these little baskets. They're super cute. I don't know if you can see them. Let me move this out of the way. But they're black and white check baskets, and I just like the whole theme of that, because at night it does get dark out. So I thought I'm going to have some colors that represent night, and black was the perfect color. So some of the first books that we are going to use are Bernstein Bear's Bedtime Devotions. And these, there are 90 different devotions, and it just goes through different categories. It's being thankful, and it just goes through a lot of different, be courageous, just all different. Be a good friend. So this is one of our bedtime devotions that we will be using. I also picked up, excuse me, Bedtime Devotions with Jesus. And this is just a beautiful book also. And it talks about being strong. God is looking at you, and it just goes through and gives you scripture, a little prayer that you can say. So this is a very nice bedtime devotion too. I am also going to use Animal Stories for Bedtime. This is by Usborne, and a lot of these books are Usborne books, and it always has like the little air balloon up here in the top. So these are Usborne's Animal Stories and Bedtimes. So it just goes through like the elephant nose, and it just has some really cute illustrations in this book. So that's another book. Because I have a little boy, we're going to use our Bible, Little Boy's Bible Story for Mothers and Sons. So this is what we will go through, and go through the stories and talk about sons and mothers and relationships. And I just thought that would be nice to add to our basket. I also have, by Usborne, Illustrated Stories for Boys. So we will use this one, and he can pick out the different stories. They have some good illustrations in here, and just makes all different sounds and just kind of fun stories for him. So we use this. Is by Usborne. The next book we're going to do is Bedtime Math, and I'm sure some of you are familiar. If you're not familiar, this book is great. It has some math concepts in there. It has different levels in there for children to use. So when you tell this story, you read it. It talks about eat your way through town. It has wee ones. It has little kids, big kids, and then you have a bonus. So it's just fun because you can add math into bedtime, which is a good concept. Some other books I have are Goodnight Zoo. And I have Goodnight Colorado, because that's where we're from. And it talks about different places, and it talks about the animals, how they're preparing and getting ready to go to sleep. I have Lift the Flap, Very First Questions and Answers. What is the moon? Perfect and appropriate for nighttime, because we can see the moon when we look out our window. That is an Usborne book. The other one that I got that's similar to that are What Are the Stars? Again, Usborne book. Lift the Flap. Super cute illustrations inside. Talks to you about stars and what they are. I haven't opened these. I'm waiting to have my son open these because that's kind of special to do too. So that's What Are the Stars? The next one is What Is It Like in Space? And this is a flap book too. What is it like in space? You know, what can you see? How do you get there? Where can you go in space? What do astronauts do all day? Such great questions. Could we actually live on Mars? And it just goes through and has so many great questions and then the answers to your questions. Excuse me, I have this tickle in my throat. This is a complete book of farmyard tales. So it just goes through. It's got some great illustrations in here. Just fun books. And this is an Usborne. It also comes with a CD. So you can play that if you don't want to read. And you guys can listen and relax and start winding down. Another great book, Night Night, Busy Town, a read-along bedtime story. So you can go ahead and you read the story. And then it has these little pull-outs. And when you pull these out, it says pull here. And you pull it out. It has a little book attached to it. So there's a book inside a book. And it just goes through and it has little pages and you can read this. Super cute. It's on all the pages. So Night Night, Busy Town. Another is 4 mini books to pull out and read. Just super cute. This is an Usborne. A few of their beautiful, I know these are kind of like squishy books, but this is Illustrated Stories from Dickens. Next one is Usborne's Adventure Stories. I also have a Bernstein Bear, Bedtime Blessings, which of course Bernstein Bears I think everybody loves. Just really cute and just how we can make bedtime a little bit fun and what our routine needs to be, things we do before we get in bed. And it's just really a cute book. The next one is 365 Bedtime Stories and Rhymes. And this is just a great book also. Love this book. Great stories in there. This is a fun one. It is Good Night construction site. And you open it up and it talks about down in the big construction site, the tough trucks work with all their might. Listen to them crunch and boom and beep until it's time to go to sleep. And you can hear them making different sounds. And it just goes through and it gets them ready for night-night and all the things they have to do, just like us, to be prepared. I'm also adding this read aloud. It's Raccoon on the Moon and Other Tales. Usborne book, super great book. Cute illustrations. Take the cover, calls Frankie over here, or he'll eat us all. It just tells you some fun stories. The pictures, like I said, are super cute. And it's just talking about getting in bed and all the different stories. And like I said, there's several tales. Raccoon, excuse me, I'm tongue-tied there. Raccoon on the Moon is an awesome one. And we use this for our unit study for space. But I've added it to our nighttime, so this is where it will stay. We also have Glow in the Dark, Constellations, a field guide for young stargazers. So that's fun to have. And that way we can look out and see if we can ever spot any of these. And it goes through, gives you a bunch of different ones. And then what I also did was added these things to spot in the sky because you can match the constellations with the book. So that's another something that we can do to kind of start slowing ourselves down and just getting ready and just looking outside and then looking to see if we can match the cards to the pictures in the book. And then I have When the Moon is Full. And it goes through each month and it tells you a different poem about the moon and when it's full. And it just talks about, so it starts in January and it gives you a poem. And it's just good because it's all about the moon. So another great one for nighttime. This book is a fun book. This was one of my giveaways. And it is a Shine a Light book. And you open the book up and you read it. And then you use a flashlight. So it's perfect for nighttime. and you shine the flashlight on the back side, and this is what would show up. See if you can see that. You would see that from the front page when you shine that flashlight under there. So another fun activity to do at nighttime. Perfect time for bedtime. Also, this is for my sweet boy Mason. On the night you were born. And it just goes through and it has his name. We got this from grandparents. His grandma and grandpa got him this. But it goes through and it just gives you his name under all the scenarios, and just something special that we keep and want to make sure that we take good care of it, and we can read about the moon and about Mason and how special he is. This is another fun. I love these books because I don't know if you've ever had them, but they're real squishy. But it says On the Moon. This is an Usborne book, and it talks about things on the moon and looking out. The moon is very, very far away. What do you think it would be like to go there? And it just gives the children a good imagination and gives them thinking skills. And what would it be like? And we can learn more about it. It's just great books. The next one I have is Usborne. It's called the Usborne Book of the Moon. Beautiful illustrations. It talks about the moon. It talks, right here, it's really pretty. It's a clear night. The sun has set and the moon has risen. It's just got some beautiful pictures. So that is the Usborne Book of Moon. And then the last book we have is Usborne and Nighttime. What happens at night when the city closes down? When the town gets ready to go to sleep, it says good night, and it gives you all the things that are taking place and how the trains stop and the taxis quit running and how the stores close. And when the factories work, lights out factory, it gives you just all about night. So just another great book. So we've enjoyed putting this together. We really like it. One last thing I want to share with you, because this would be one of Mason's favorite. It's Jonathan James and the Monster. And it talks about scenarios, about kids who maybe don't want to do things, are afraid to step up and do things. And it starts out with, what if you tumble? What if there's wind? What if you slip and your knees get all skinned? And it goes through all the different scenarios. What if, what if, what if? And finally, he gets down here, and it changes. And he's worried about friends. And finally, the little monster, which we have a stuffed animal. It's really cute, real plush and soft. It says, now, wait just a minute. I have something to say. After hearing what ifs all through the day, I hear all your worries. I hear all your claims. But what if you're wrong? Asked Jonathan James. And it just goes through and it tells you, what if you're wrong? What if you taste something and you put the food in your mouth and it tastes really good? And what if you run in a really big race and have a great time no matter what place? And just all the great things, and he's sleeping with his little monster. So that is just super cute. We loved this book. And excited for Mason to start using this and sleeping with this. And like I stated, these are things that he will not get to use other than at bedtime. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you had, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also, click on that notification bell so you're aware when new videos come out. And thank you so much for spending your morning with me. And I hope you've enjoyed the Bedtime Basket. Bye-bye.